Welcome, my dear friends. Welcome to another episode of AltarEd. We're so excited to be here, and it's my privilege and my honor to invite all of you to AltarEd, where we believe that when we surrender our life on the altar of God, we can truly be altered in every situation that we're going through in our life. So, watch us on Power Vision and other social media platforms, and we are doing this series on faith. The Journey of Faith series is what I'm calling this time, where I bring different people from various backgrounds to come and share their journey of faith. Because, like I mentioned before, that faith is not a destination that we reach, but it's a journey that we're going through from the time that we accepted Christ and until the day that we die. So, on that faith journey, we have another very, very, very special guest with us, Mr. Santosh Mathew, who we call Santosh Shine. Welcome, Santosha.
Thank you very
And it's a privilege to have him with us. And I've known him since I was a small boy. And why don't you just give a little introduction about who you are, what you do, and so that everybody can know about you a little bit.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for inviting me for this podcast. And my name is Santosh Mathew, and I've been a part of this church last 22 years, and my wife has been a part of this church much more. And I basically, if I give a small introduction about my faith and all, I was born and brought up in a Knanaya Orthodox family. And in my family, till other than my mom, nobody is in faith. Everybody still goes to the typical church. And at the age of, if I give you a little background, I had a very safe childhood. Like till the age of 14, I was sleeping with my dad and mom. So that time when I was in my 10th, I lost my dad, and there was a huge vacuum in my life. And then I took admission in a college in Bihar, which was now it has become Jharkhand. Earlier it was in Bihar itself. But 2-3 months because of strike and all, I relocated myself to Kerala and took admission in Kerala. And then there was a lot of vacuum in my life. I could see after my dad passing off, people who were so much respecting you or too much inviting to the house. Suddenly there was a distance because when money goes away, like people suddenly
So when your dad passed, there was an economic...
No, there was no economical this thing. But I am seeing when my dad was the eldest in his house.
Okay.
So he
The
was
prominence.
providing everything, the younger brothers come. So when they see that source of that thing is in our family, it was okay. But since now they saw that there's nobody to flood them with that money, support and all that stuff. So literally the distance, otherwise it was come in a house, you have to stay in a house, all that stuff that was, so, but then I saw that thing little bit reduced. And instantly a funny thing happened. One of my uncle, my mom's brother, he was in faith so he had come to visit us in our house. I'm just saying the way also how I came to Lord Jesus. So he basically came to our house. He was not well, and he was a person who didn't used to take any medicine. So he came to our house and he was terribly sick, could not get up from the bed. So he asked me to go and invite one pastor. And that pastor stays near my house. So I went and invited this pastor, and while I was coming, he shared me about gospel and all. And then this pastor came to our house and he prayed for my uncle. And typically in Malayalam, you rebuke the devil and all the stuff So, and to my, I was amazed to see that when this prayer finished, he was immediately healed. My uncle was not able to get up from the bed itself, got up. It started doing a thing. So that was my first exposure or hit to a God who works
working.
this way. And then what happened, then this pastor went off, my uncle also went off. And then I started using that word, in the name of Jesus. I started hallelujah, this thing, even though I didn't know the meaning of it. Because typically
So how old are you here?
I was 17 that time.
Okay.
So I was, as I told, I was in Bihar. So there we didn't had much Christian exposure. There was only one church in that area. And that was shared by Mathomite, Orthodox, Catholic, and all that group. So probably once in a Sunday, Orthodox thing will come. So we might go, we may not go. And we had a scooter that time. So dad, mom, and myself, we would go off. So there was no Sunday school exposure, nothing like that. So I knew about God, Christmas, typical Christmas, Easter, that's it.
Wonderful. So when when I look at your life, and I've as you've seen me grow up, since childhood, since you came, I've also been observing your life,
Yeah.
and I've not seen many people that have been so positive. The world calls it positive, but I would call it somebody who has been so faithful to the Lord uh, in your heart. Because what happens, I've seen many people, we are Christians, but we don't really, we grow bitter because of the trials and the circumstances that we face in our life. So when whether it be the back problem that you had, whether it be the health scare that Chechi had, whether it be with Joel, since what I want you to share, and what people should know about how you did it is, like, how were you able to stay happy, stay hopeful, stay, believing that God is still in control of, all the situations that you have been through in your life over the past 15 years that I've been noticing you. How did you do that?
So just to, as I shared with you, like when my father passed away, and when I came to faith and all, I was a funny way. I was just repeating those words and all, and then finally I got an opportunity to go to a place, and then I accepted Jesus Christ as my savior. But then what happened? The moment I came to, I accepted Christ in my life, like, and then I could feel that vacuum being taken off, like, and then I started, like, as I told, when you have X and X is gone, so then you need to fill it that X with something, like,
Yeah.
so that the father place was taken by Jesus or God, you can say, in my life. And then what happened over the period, like when we got married, so I will always used to relate myself, like today, like for example, if Joel is there, like let's say if I go and I buy let's say if we want to have a jeans, like, yeah, so probably I'll go for a Levi sort of thing. Like if I can afford, I'll go for Levi and I do it right for him. So when challenges come in my life, I used to think that in a different direction. Like I put God, Jesus in my place, and I say, ki tomorrow, like Joel does some mistake, I rebuke him,
Yeah.
sort of thing. Like so, every time when challenges come in, like I always try to put myself in the son position,
Yeah.
and I see ki if something is happening, if I am rebuking, in my heart, I am not looking for his restriction. I am chastening him, I am scolding him, or try to probably discipline him. It's all to make him a better person, like, yeah. And secondly, so this was one thing, and secondly, as I said, like after becoming a father, I could get more into this thing of, like, every time I put myself in that father and child relationship,
You can understand
and I
Jesus.
can replicate that, just my, like, I forgive my children's mistakes, I accept them. So I always replicate when I'm on that sad part. And there's one more thing which happened, like if I share with you, like my church friends in Kerala, my friends in Bombay or in Dubai, most of them are abroad, or they are very few are in India, but they're all doing very good. Like, so there was a time when I used to ask God, like, why me? Like, my wife has cancer, my son has a dyslexia problem. I see they posting pictures on their, on their about the children getting awards and all sort of things. So there was a time when I should ask God, like, but then God revealed me something which was basically through what we have in our defense in India. There's something called NSG commandos, like. So I was just reading one article and it struck me, like, in commandos, there's no direct appointment to a commando, like. People are picked from different defense verticals, and then they are placed into a commando, this thing, like. And these commandos are always put in special operations, and they are put in operation that regular people don't do, like. So then I had a revelation, like, there are, like, God picks certain people, and God is watching our back. Like, if a commander is invested in, if he's going allowed to go to enemy territory, he's not just alone. Like, he goes alone, but there's a whole ecosystem of satellite, helicopter to rescue him. There's a medical team waiting. Everything is there, like. So I could convert that into my thought, ki when I go through, when my son is going through an operation, when I'm going through this, there have to be somebody, there have to be a Lazarus who has to die so that Jesus can resurrecting. If there is no Lazarus dead, then Jesus has nobody to
It's an
lead.
opportunity for God to reveal
Yeah.
Himself.
So then I started that grudge or that negative thing that used to come earlier. I replace it with a sense of joy. Like, okay, God, you have chosen me for this. Like recently, Joel case happened,
Yeah.
and believe me, every time I go through such situations, by the grace of God, till date, had been God takes me out victoriously. Like because whether it's Joel or Joanna, like Joel case, you know, it's amazing. We standard 2 is asked to leave the school. But you see, he is doing his BCA third semester right now. So
I think I don't want people to miss that. The biggest, I think, miracle ever since, I became a parent uh, is the happiness of my children. And uh, Santosh Chain's son has dyslexia, but I still remember that we were, as a church and as a family, we were praying for him, and God has brought him to BCA now,
he's doing his
and
BCA
he's such an
third semester.
amazing son. My next question would be, generally people have this mentality when it comes to people like, say, let's say David, or even Jesus, or even Peter, Paul, that because we call them generals of faith, like it's almost like they never get discouraged,
Correct,
right? But I don't think that's entirely true. So, like in this journey of faith, we have ups and downs, and wins and losses, and so on and so forth. So, could you tell us what was the time in your life that you really felt that, we have that time in our Christian walk when we feel like, I really, God, I can't do it. I'm reaching my end. What was that time, and how did God intervene, or how did you encourage yourself to get out of that situation? Those are my two
In
questions.
fact, that's an incident in my life when I was before marriage. I was in Bombay. I was a branch manager in a company doing good. Instead of a car, the company had provided me a scooter. And also in that standard, I was doing very good. But to Kerala, mein typical hota na, tu Dubai nahi ja raha, you're still in Bombay, you're not going So
To
one
get-
fine, one fine day, what happened? I just sat. Evening, I was alone in my room. I took my calculator and said, "Okay, I'm getting this much." That time, I was getting around, I am talking about somewhere around
30 years.
yeah. So that time the salary was good and all. I had all the privileges and everything. I was heading the thing. So I just calculated my salary into so many. I said, God, I need, example, let's say I need 10 lakhs that time to make a house. So I said, God, with this salary, I won't able to do it. And suddenly a sense of failure and something came in my life. And I said, God, you have done a mistake by selecting me. I can't do it. Because Kerala, you have a house, you have achieved
Everything,
something.
yeah.
So I was also in that sort
Rut.
of thing at that age, and everybody is going to Dubai, Shubai, and I am still here. But technically, everything was well with me. I was calling the shots. I was the head of that entire
Operation.
operation. Like I had my salary. I mean, it's everything. Nobody was like I used to help in the church, and everything was there. But somewhere a sense of unsuccessful came in, and that night I prayed. First time in my life, I prayed, God, I want to die And I prayed the whole night. I prayed, and I don't know, morning I slept. I slept, while praying only I slept. And next day morning, instead of going to office, I went to my sister's home. She stayed nearby. I was in Bombay that time. So whenever I feel sad and all, I just go there. And I was going there to my company provided scooter. And you believe, within 12 hours of my prayer, I had I was going in a good speed. Now I didn't take my helmet also. And there's a Bolero Jeep that sprang in the middle of the road. It was lying idle. Suddenly it came up and I went and bashed that thing. The scooter got completely mangled and I was thrown in a road. And certain time God answers a prayer so fast like this. So within 12 hours the accident happened. But miraculously, scooter got completely, it became like a ball. Front
Wow.
impact and the back impact. And I got up, my entire body was crackling. I touched, there was no blood. And finally, people came and went to the hospital, and nothing happened to me. If you see the scooter and if you see myself, people won't believe it was me on that scooter.
Yeah.
So again, I heard God's voice. I've not called you to kill you. There is a plan. What we read in the book of Jeremiah. There's a plan. And then I took a oath. Jesus, this is the last time I'm praying that I'll never pray. Whatever comes, I know. I will not go down because you are there. And then the thought came in see, when I do good or when I do bad, just like if our children do good in a stage, the parent feel very happy. And when they do bad, they might feel little embarrassed sort of thing like that. So I said, same way, my God feels the same thing about me. Like,
Yeah.
when I came in faith, entire half-kilometer area in Kerala, there was nobody in Pentecostal. Like, yeah. So they used to make me fun of me, like saying that somebody has
So your whole family came, or you came?
no, I alone came in my family, and in the place where we stayed in Kerala, Blockwood, in a half-kilometer radius, there was no Pentecostal person.
Because they're all kana.
Like Naya and Orthodox like it. So they all first they try to lure me like you don't know what is Krana, you were in Bihar, we are this, that.
Yeah.
They tried all the tricks, so I didn't go back like that. Then they said somebody has fooled this guy. He has been promised to go. They will be taken
Gulf.
to America like
Oh,
that.
it's
So then they put a nickname to me. I was called Louis Pastor like that. So when I get down from the bus, they'll call, hey, Louis Pastor. Sort
What's
of thing
that
like
mean? Louis Pastor Barnya? What is
That's
that?
a nickname they put
Acha,
me
acha, like, okay.
And what happened, instead of getting, more and more they made fun of me, more and more I got deeper relationship with Jesus, praying, this thing and all. And then I was in my college, ICPF and all this stuff like that. So and then I came to Bombay, then I went to, and Dubai also. Then after this accident, I went to Dubai and all. In Dubai also, when I got married, there was Leena was not hesitant to come to Dubai. She wanted to be in Delhi only. Then I planned to leave my job. So there also people told me, you're doing a foolish thing. Like people
Dubai.
leave their entire property, sell it, and they come to Dubai. I had a good job. Like I was again heading an entire unit in Dubai. Like I had all the cars and everything. So, but then every time I think as a Christian, there are times God throws a situation in our life where He tests us, like where is our faith, like. So then I made a faith declaration there in Dubai with our pastors, and I said, see, my God whom I serve is not restricted to a geography. If my God has to raise me up, it is not Dubai mein, Uganda mein bhi rahunga, to God will raise me up, because my God is not. And I made this statement when I was doing the last message. The God of Dubai is a God of Delhi also.
Yeah.
Delhi for me was a new place.
Yeah.
Everything was in Bombay itself. When you sales, when you relocate, you need some contacts, and also it was, I left a comfortable job, 5 days a week, all the cars and everything, and just drop into Delhi, because I also wanted to prove my spiritual part. Ki it's not good for man and woman to be separate.
Correct.
So I said, when you're married, so people used to in Kerala, so many people say
they live separately, yeah.
I said, yeah, nee, it's not good like. So then I threw that job and came in, but God honored like it. So there was many incidents, such things where I took a step, God honored in terms of so then it gave me a boldness in faith, like over the period, like.
Yeah.
Then we had this Leena getting cancer and all. So all this time, there were people like earlier, before that commando thing happened, that example happened, I used to feel embarrassed, like, hey, log kya sochenge, this guy is doing some great sin, iske जीवन में बीमारी है, बीबी को इसको यार क्या करता है ये मालूम नहीं, बाहर चर्च में बहुत हालेलुया बोलता है, घर पे क्या करता होगा. So, but then I realized that this is not nothing, like I have to please God, and God has chosen me for this purpose, and there have to be one monkey who have to jump from the tree first. If I am that monkey, let me be that. Let God
but
name it.
I'm saying it's I asked you that what is the time that you felt the lowest, and I know for a fact that you've been through so many issues, family issues, with Chechi and with yourself, with your son, and so on and so forth. But I think you chose the one where it was something which was internal, and I think that just shows that we get so bogged down, like when we lose our job, when we are struck with sickness, but nobody really cares about how we're doing internally, because at the end of the day, if I have a good car and I'm depressed, I'm happy, I'm good. But if I'm happy and I don't have, if I'm in a cycle, I'm not blessed. That's the way that people view us. And when I look at your life, you are so, that's what, in all these years, all the years that I've noticed you, I've always seen that your love for the Lord has not grown. No, I won't say stale, but the graph has not come down, because generally what happens when we're in church long enough, our graph slowly starts to decline, or we start deviating into
Correct.
other things.
It's very true. Like I've seen many people who started very well, and some problem happened, and also see it happens. Like so today, like in our house, we have this every time we have family day, family time prayer and all. So that's something which also I teach my children also. Like today, like whatever materialistic blessing we have, like whether we have a house and all. Tomorrow this might go also, because this is not the ultimate thing. Like
It's
so,
not the
moment
ultimate
what
goal.
happened, most of the Christians today, thanks to all this prosperity preaching and all, what they're told, if you have iPhone, you're blessed. If you have a Android phone, you're not blessed. Like so, our blessing basically is measured or tied to house, car, shoe, coat, dresses, and all like it. Which I always tell my children, and which I also practice in terms of. I say it's not the biggest blessing is that we are the children of Jesus Christ. We are God. God gave us His salvation. Like our eyes were opened. Like I always give an example. Like today also we saw that AI founder like a couple of days before we read in US he died. So in our house we regularly discuss everything. Like with the children, like I see people who are very successful, suddenly they killed it themselves. So I always say whatever thing in this world is that they all come with their vacuum. Like your biggest blessing what you have is Jesus. And I also ensure, like one of the things which I'm very careful is that my children should also be like today. Like one thing you may also realize, you can't be a hypocrite before your children. Like
Absolutely.
you can fool the whole world, but your children
you can't fool
them. Like so, I always say कि मेरे बच्चे, like, because let's say if I give you an example, like we met and I'm talking very good on your face on you.
Yeah.
By the time I reach the gate, I am talking something ill like about you.
Yeah.
So my children are hearing it.
They're
2-3
hearing
times they
everything.
say, सर ये पापा क्या है रंजीत भैया को ऐसे बोल रहे हैं और पीछे में ये बोल रहे हैं. So what happened? I become a hypocrite before them. And tomorrow when I talk about faith, then
it affects them.
यही बंदा बोल रहा है. तो what happened? They will accept Christ. They will come to church as long I am forcing them. The moment they will be 20, 22, they are let's say they relocate somewhere. There's a papa का Christ यही था करके. So I always ensure that my children,
they are your
don't
first
reach
church.
Yeah, they accept Christ because I share my experience. We share everything with them. Like even I ask them what's happening in their life, like whether boyfriend, girlfriend. We are very free in like I have that. We read articles in the news and then relate what could have gone wrong or what all the stuff like that. So that my intention is they should not come to church because I'm Sunday को पप्पा तैयार हो रहे तो हमें जाना otherwise डांट मिलेगा. But tomorrow if Joel or Joanna is in US or in some other place, Sunday होते they should automatically feel it should go like, because that's the biggest investment, because otherwise whatever I do, if my children are lost like so which I always tell them also, I'm not expecting you earn 3 CR but you don't have Jesus. I'm happy you have 30,000 but you have Jesus like because ultimately
that's what matters.
Yeah, that's what matters. Like
so coming back, tying everything in, you left, you did the unpopular thing of staying back in India, and you took faith steps of starting your own business.
Correct.
You're successful in the work that you do, and like when now you're a middle-aged man, and
52.
when you see how God has made you blossom, like how Joseph was blossoming in Egypt, in the land of bondage. So what is it doesn't matter what people say, but how do you feel, because you're like where you were 30 years ago and what people were saying and where you are now, and what is the feeling and sense that you're getting where God has elevated you to this level?
See, today, one thing what I see myself is I'm in par with them. Like probably I might not be driving one of a very big car, which I can afford. Like it's not I cannot afford. Like but today, walking with Jesus, what I feel I become more spiritually. When I say spiritually, financially also matured. Like today. Like earlier it was like I had to wear this brand only, I had to drive this car only. Now over the period what has happened, such things have gone. Like it has become imitated. Like recently in a family time I was discussing when you drive to the airport, all this Gurgaon building looks tall like when the plane start taking off, you see this building, it becomes small and small. So I was just sharing with them, once you become more closer, like that's my target. I'm not saying I'm perfect in Christ. I'm still trying to be like So I was telling my children, once we get closer to that part, like we in a family, we call it skyport. Like so, when I always say ki when we finish our family prayer, I say today if the bigul is sound like the trumpet sounds, we have to be at the skyport. Skyport is at the sky like. So I will always tell my children, I tell myself also ki when you get more and more into it, you suddenly these things become immaterial. Like आज से 10 साल पहले it would have been, but today, if I look at my job part, of course, one more thing which I could say is that when I was working, like when I had plenty or when I was there, you should not miss an opportunity to plan things. Like you should give in godly things. Like then God takes care. Like as it is written in the Bible, a glass of water also will be repaid. So I've seen like when I left my job, I had a house in Gurgaon, so it was the EMI was close to 48,000. So suddenly the salary stopped, and first 6-7 months nothing was happening. So the graph started coming. Thing was also only going to be empty. Like. But then God has given me some vision. That time I had done some investment, and that investment I took and cut down my loan from 48 to 15,000.
Wow.
And today, as you know, 2 years before we bought a house close to almost to 2 CR, like a 1.7. Which normally people have to have a job to get a loan of that amount. Like, but then there also God gave me that wisdom. I had taken a house in Gurgaon which I sold and added something. So when I was entering the house, I said, job, I don't have like my business is there. It's blooming up. It's catching up. Like today we have crossed a 1 CR turnover and all. It's catching up. Like, but with this business, without 6-7 years of continuous salary system and all, still God has given this house. So if God plans, like your job is immaterial, your finance is immaterial. Prabhu ka when God's time comes up, He don't see salary kya raha. Okay, tab isko do. It's not. He provides like it. But only thing is you have to be faithful when you have. So what I've seen is that my account never had been negative like it. It comes to next level and something happens and it goes back. So I always tell कि मैंने जो भी investment किया था, like when I was in Dubai or when I was in Bombay, when I was in Delhi, what was small help God put it in my heart. I help people. So that all God is not debtor to anybody like that.
I've seen that in your life because you've been such a not just like faithful tither, but I've seen that you have gone above and beyond to help so many people. And in summation, I would ask, my final question would be that when you look back at when you accepted the Lord almost 30 years back, what would you tell people that, because there are many people who are my age, you have a almost 15-year head start on me. What would you tell somebody like me who is having smaller children, who has a family, who's working? What are the things that will matter in our faith life as we grow older when I reach? So if you were talking to the younger Santosh at 35 years old, what would you tell him about your faith journey, how you should be, which will lead you to an amazing journey with Jesus Christ?
So first I'll say first on the family part, like you also have 2 kids like me. Don't be biased like to the kids like. And second thing, what I think is for a successful marriage, like don't be shy to say sorry like. So that's when it comes to family thing. Secondly, I say ki try to not to be hypocrite before your wife and the children, because your everything starts from that. That's the origin point. Like if you and then at the same, like if I give you an example today, whatever I've taught my children certain time, let's say by any chance I gossip about somebody also, Joanna bounce me, that you can't judge that person. You should not judge people. So what happened, then I feel happy that chalo kuch my children is also giving back. So you have to be sensitive to such things and don't gossip about any. I mean, like when I've seen many people losing their blessing because they bicker on their on their pastor or on their leader, because as we see that David ka jo funda tha, David said, "I'll not harm the anointed."
The anointed.
Because there are so many things which we like God plans to bless us. We do stupid things of such things and we lose that blessing, because God is a just God. His principles are yes and no like. So I ensure that I don't do that. And secondly, while respecting the parents, if taking care, and I also share with my children, I have this thing we have to do, that thing we have to do. So, and whatever I say, I try my best that at least 90-95% I do it also, so that I like my children don't say Papa se bolte and he don't do anything like in every matters like that's one thing. Secondly, spiritually thing I'd say. Ups and downs come, but you have to put your bar. You should be very clear. Like once you have a deep connection, like today, Levi can jump on you and say, "Dad, I want this." He's not doubting whether. So that sort of relationship, when we say a father, God is really a father, and we do sin, we do mistake, we fall down and all, but don't allow devil to keep on poking you too much, like bounce back, come and like when we say father, like as I, in my case, especially since I don't have a worldly father, so I could relate more and more with him in terms of on my needs, on my things, on my mistakes, decisions I have taken up. But one thing, there was a deep assurance I have that means my God will not let me down because He will not let me down, and at the same time I have to do my part. I have to come to church. I have to do my prayer. I have to I have to. And these days, what is happening is above 50, I see when I read Bible, it relates 35 में जो मुझे समझ में नहीं आता था, 50 में probably I'm able to relate more. I see that words talking to me and all So that's it. And what I'm saying is that you have to trust God, and best thing is that you have to shift your focus. Like today, what I want to tell the people is shift your focus. Ki tera car, tera mobile is nothing. This is just like a 10 paisa what you give to a beggar in a signal. God ke liye mobile phone or a BMW is nothing. God ke liye, He has given us the best. The devil always tells us ki the life of Jesus, the blood of Jesus is not best. Tera best is a BMW, tera best is a house in Sake, tera house is blah blah blah. हम उस false में चले जाते. The moment you feel कि नहीं यार, God best is already there. This is only a temporary thing. Just like हम भिखारी को कुछ देते हैं, or I won't say भिखारी, just like something we are getting it like. So moment that thought comes in you, then what happens? Then immediately you become immune to that pressure कि तेरे पास क्या है, तू क्या कर रहा है, तेरा जॉब क्या है, तेरा बैंक बैलेंस में क्या है, then you that materialistic things become. Then when you pray, you are more sincere. Otherwise pray भी करते you have a grudge. यार कार तो मेरा अभी भी 7 साल पुराना है, ये क्या करो? That grudge, then that grudge or whatever it is goes from you. So you have to just shift. My God has given His best. That is His Son, and whether it's Benin or Billy Graham or any XYZ. The same amount of blood has been shed for me also. If it's 5 liters of blood was in Jesus' body, 5 liters has been blood for me also, for you and for everybody. So when you start thinking on those lines, then the worldly cheez jo pulls you out karke, it's reduced. So
that's amazing.
The key I think should be in our Christian life.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your heart, and thank you for coming. Thank you for being as honest and heartful as you could, and I really appreciate it. And amazing story, very inspiring. Thank you, Cha, for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, and God bless you.
Thank you
and
so much.
See you guys next week. We'll have another individual talking about their journey of faith. God bless you, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Well.